And we're here with Mr. Maphael.
Hey, yo, what up?
So what'd you think of the fight last night? I don't know a whole lot about boxing. It seems like it's way more boring, typically, than MMA. Just it's slower pace. They tie up. They have to get pushed apart.
Well, from what I've watched, because I don't really dabble in any fighting sport, MMA is like, I gotta get out there and I gotta kill that man as fast as I can. And boxing is more endurance based.
Yeah, a lot of skill too. But dude, by the time McGregor came out there, my adrenaline was rushing. It made me nervous to just think maybe he's just going to get destroyed like a total newbie.
I was actually impressed that he made it to the 10th round. I knew in the 9th round it was over, but he at least made it to the 10th.
Yeah, like he was running out of gas. But then there was that moment where, man, in the first 3 rounds, what if he gets that lucky shot, the puncher's chance?
That's the thing too. Like I'd say in the first 3-4 rounds, Mayweather or McGregor was like he was doing it.
And it turned out perfectly for everyone too. The fans got a nice 10 rounds of action. Mayweather didn't run away the entire time. All the UFC fans didn't see Conor just get devastated. Mayweather needs to keep his 50-0.
I saw a meme about the whole 50-0 thing. It was 50-1 if you count that he beat his wife.
Wait, how's that 50? You mean
or 51-0? My bad.
I was going to say 51-0.
51-0, baby.
I don't know anything about that. What was that all about?
I don't know.
His wife eating adventures.
It was I was on Imgur and I saw like that old cartoon Spider-Man memes, and it was like, he's actually 51-0 since he beat his wife. And I was like, oh.
Old Spider-Man memes are the best, dude.
I kind of like them. That gave me cancer.
Because there's all those weird pictures of him too, like with his butt sticking out and like buildings randomly on fire and him pointing at a picture of himself, all this weird stuff.
Yeah. But no, I was actually quite happy with the fight. I'm not big in either of the fighting sports, but it was good, and I wish I could be a loser. Because I was wrong yesterday. Apparently he won a lot more than 30 mil for losing.
Yeah, they each had some share of the purse, so I guess it worked out to Mayweather with 300 million and McGregor with 100 million ish.
Yeah, dude. Any day of the week.
Well, what they need to do is make sure to pay their taxes on that. I mean, the government probably takes 40% of your winnings right there, but you at least need to make sure to pay it so you don't get in trouble with the tax man.
Yeah, but still, dude, that fight, I mean, I don't know. Because I only started watching it and, I just watched clips of, the 1st through 4th. And then I actually watched 6th through the 10th. But
well, it looked like McGregor was making progress in the first 3 rounds, but then at the end of the fight, Floyd was like, that was the strategy. We wanted him to throw all his big shots early and get tired out, and then I'll pick him apart later. And he did it perfectly. Like, he stuck to the plan.
Yeah. I just love all the trash talk that happened. The trash talk made it my favorite. Fuck the Mayweathers.
Dude, that was ridiculous. I can't believe he said that. He was being such a jerk in some of those press conferences.
I know, but at the end, I was really happy to see that at the end they were still, or not still, but they were not friends, but at least humble bros about the fight.
Yeah, nothing like actually going toe-to-toe for 10 rounds to get some of your aggression out and make you realize, yeah, this guy's an okay competitor.
Yeah, and I was actually quite surprised. Mayweather had some pretty good things to say about Conor.
Yeah, I couldn't have picked a better dance partner. Well, he's right, because they hyped up the fight so much that they made so much money on it. It was a great crossover for that reason.
Yeah.
Water cooler talk all over the country. Everyone was hyped up for it.
True that, my dude.
And on the front page of Reddit right now. Today I learned 50 Cent once challenged Floyd Mayweather to read 1 page of a Harry Potter book.
Oh, I thought that was the Mike Tyson one that he could.
I thought Mike Tyson was in something too.
Either way. Like watching that though almost makes me want to watch more, at least MMA. I've always like every time I saw something on Facebook that dealt with Connor, it always made me laugh because he's such like a cocky hothead, and I love the Irishness that like he portrays.
Well, he really comes across as a huge douchebag, don't you think?
Yeah, dude, I love it.
But to be that confident against the undisputed, like greatest of all time, Floyd Mayweather, he really had to believe it and sell it.
And he did. He sold it.
Like the press conferences were so great, like that "fuck the Mayweathers," that one in Canada where he's all walking around like a caged animal, but like looking like such a badass.
Yeah, my favorite. I don't know if that was the one where he wore the suit that said "fuck you" on the pinstripes.
Oh yeah, that was the one right before that. That was awesome.
See, like I love that. I want a suit like that.
I think it's probably super expensive, but you could arrange it.
Yeah, true that.
I don't want to turn off my ad blocker, but I want to find out what happened when Floyd was challenged to read one page. The best part, 50 said he'd donate $750,000 to the charity of Mayweather's choice. Then even said, just read The Cat in the Hat, and he still couldn't. Wow, is he literally like completely illiterate?
Well, I mean, you have to think about it. Even if he could be like the smartest boxer in the world, but his head has probably gotten knocked quite a few times.
He might have just never learned to read, man. Like, he's richer than you or I will ever be, and he just doesn't know how to read. What the hell? That's crazy.
I'm okay with that. You know, if I was in in his shoes, whatever, man.
Imagine he's driving one of his Lamborghinis and something comes up on the heads-up display, like warning him of a critical error, and he can't even read it.
Well, I mean, with that kind of money, it'd be like, warning, you are about to hit a child.
Or more like low tire pressure, but he can't read it, so he doesn't know what to do.
Well, I mean, he probably knows the signs, like the little flashing lights on the dash.
Yeah, maybe those are just symbols too. But you also have to be able to read street signs if you're going to drive, don't you?
Yeah. He probably doesn't drive. Who knows? I mean, hell, he got like, what, 300 mil for this fight? I don't care.
Man, you would have think he'd pencil in some time to learn the basics of reading, though.
Still, it was a pretty good match. I'm happy.
Yeah, it wasn't disappointing at all. I was waiting for a really boring fight too. It could have gone that way easily.
Super easily.
So what's going on in the Cool Beans Discord chat these days? Also, no one seems like they're in voice chat ever.
Dude, I've told you once. I'll tell you again. Cool Beans is dead.
What? Why is it dead?
Cool Beans has been dead since Vietnam.
Since when they went to Vietnam?
When everyone left Vindy and not everyone picked into Blade and Soul, dead. And then when that happened, people that were currently in Cool Beans branched off into other guilds within Blade and Soul.
That makes me sad. It's like the breaking of the fellowship.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then there's OCD and Bear, and I jump in. But for what it was worth back in the day,
And no one's completely hyped up on the Gunmaster, are they?
And what, in Vindy?
Or Blade and Soul, the Gunmaster's coming out, or the Gunslinger?
Oh, I haven't heard much about it, no. All I hear about are Herc memes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be good. Dude, did you see this the video, though, about Asian Glow? That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see the really hot girl who was in it?
Which one? The first one in the first scene, or the one that, the blonde?
Let me open the video and see.
Because there was, like...
There's one in particular.
I think there was 3 girls. One of them was... We all know what that one was.
2 minutes and 4 seconds. She's on the right. Oh.
Oh, so that one. Okay, yeah, I remember her.
With the blonde highlights or whatever. So amazing.
Yeah. She was cute.
And what does your family think of Bae, speaking of Asian girls?
At first, before she ever came over, it was all like, whatever, lol, okay. Good yoke, my man. And then when she came over, everyone's like, oh shit, dude.
Oh shit, dude. Good pull.
Yeah, dude, good pull.
OCD was telling me in our previous episode that you guys got along really well IRL as well.
Me and her, or OCD?
All you guys, but you and OCD too.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard. It's weird. She says she would like go on and on and on to her like girlfriends that if there was someone that was similar to me and had like a huge salary, she wouldn't take it because the similarities could be too different from what I am. Because apparently I am the only one that literally can read minds. So it's kind of like the yin and yang thing.
So whose mind do you read though?
Hers, like 24/7.
What?
I just know everything. I even argue with myself, dude, because I know exactly what she's gonna say.
Well, I need an example. Like, tell me about times where you read her mind and like know what she's gonna say before she says it.
Like, because I'm a late flower, and I finally got a credit card and stuff like that, and I was looking at it, and it was very confusing because I already made a payment on it. So in the activity, it had all the activity plus that payment I did, but yet I still had a huge bill, and I was very confused with that. I was like, why would it say that I already did a payment when I've only bought 2 more things with that credit card, and I already have this huge bill when those 2 things do not add up to $500? You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird sometimes how you'll put a charge in and then it takes a long time to update, and you'll make a payment and that takes a long time to update. I know what you mean.
I was just, especially since I've never ever had a credit card, I was like, there's no way in hell that these 2 things cost $400. So it was just the way that they had it set up was confusing. But we kind of got into like a little me not knowing it and me trying to like, I don't know, brush it off, into her trying to like put the finger in, being like, you're an idiot, you're an idiot. So I'll just be like, I'd like, I don't know, say like one-liners that she would probably say, like, you're an idiot, shut up, you need to go to school, or, similar stuff to that. Just one-liners. I'm really good at her one-liners.
And are you caught up on Game of Thrones, by the way?
Yeah.
Are you stoked for the finale?
Yeah, we're gonna watch it tonight.
Bro, I am so ready.
And I don't even care if I have work tomorrow morning. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, you said you're waking up at 5 in the morning now?
Yeah, 5:30.
To go to work with Daddy Dearest?
More like just Dad.
Right, because that's the gig. You're not at the store anymore, are you?
No, not at all.
Is the plan still to schlep out to Jersey at some point?
If it happens, yeah. But right now, she's more looking into jobs elsewhere. And out of the places that we visited so far, she wants to try to live in Columbus, Philadelphia, or stay in New Jersey.
Okay, so she's going to look for a big girl job, and then you meet up with her there?
Yeah, because, she's obviously going to be the one making the bacon. So, of course, I'd, oh, you're moving to Texas? I'll be there as soon as I can. Or, because she really, if she said that if Chase, she's been trying to get a job with Chase Bank, that if the offer is right, she doesn't care where she has to move.
Well, that's a pretty smart way to look at it. And what about Silicon Valley, too? There's a lot of high-paying computer jobs out there. Would she do California?
She'll do anywhere. Well, she wouldn't do like in a small town of like 100 people.
I don't think there'd be a nice computer job for her in a small town of 100 people anyway.
But, like usually, I was going to say Middle Earth, but Middle America is usually more, there's not as populated cities.
Well, as it turns out, man, there's not too many computer jobs in Middle Earth anywhere anyway, so you're good.
Middle Earth. I don't know why every time Middle comes up and I'm trying to like, I'm describing, what is it? What's the word? Geography? Is that it?
Yeah.
I always go Middle Earth. My brain is just Middle Earth, not Middle America. Middle of the ocean. middle.
Were you a big fan of the Lord of the Rings movies or not?
Dude, my fist was so far up that it was disgusting.
So you were a big fan of them?
Oh yeah, dude. That's what kind of sparked my whole, I guess, video game-ness playing my MMOs because of being in that kind of fantasy world with like walking trees, dwarves, and stuff like that.
Well, lucky for you, like every video game ever takes place in medieval times. There's no futuristic ones, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm playing one right now that's an alpha. It's really fun, but it's very it's an actual alpha. Some games when they release that they're an alpha, it's a full game. They're just tweaks that they're gonna release. That it's gonna change on full release. But no, this is like an actual construction hard cut alpha game, and it's called Dauntless.
Is it another medieval game?
No, it's like it's like Monster Hunter, but when it's released, it's gonna be free to play. If you played Monster Hunter, right, or at least know about that title?
I've seen pictures of it before. I'm looking at Dauntless right now. This actually looks kind of cool. It's a mix between cartoony and realistic, I guess.
Yeah, and if you've you ever seen like Dark Souls being played?
Yeah.
Well, it's like that. Basically, you either queue up with 4 people to 1 person as a solo, and you go fight a boss that has no HP HUD, and it's like a Dark Souls battle where it's a lot of dodging, and it's really hard. A lot of it is really hard.
What I'm getting is it's actually like Dark Souls multiplayer online.
Yeah, but it's a Monster Hunter copy. Well, not copy, so to speak, but same genre.
Is it free?
It will be. Right now, it's not.
You paid to be in the alpha?
Yeah. $80.
Speaking of paying for games, what about that Destiny 2?
Eh.
You don't have a full hard-on for that?
Nope.
Don't you have a nice new gaming computer, though?
Yeah, I do.
Bruh.
But it's like, I played Destiny 1, and it was alright. But I just didn't like it. And Destiny 2 is gonna be cool, but I'm not gonna be into it. I know for a fact I won't be into it. Unless, for some ungodly reason, every beans in the entire nation bought Destiny 2. Then I would be interested in Destiny 2.
I don't know if we're going to get Simply on board.
I don't even think you're going to get OCD on board.
I'm pretty interested. Like last time I talked to him, he sounded like he could get down with it. What about Joel? Joel might do it. I bet Floppy Willie, possibly Ben.
It just doesn't, I don't know. It's going to feel like a first-person Warframe, but I can't do what I like to do in Warframe, and that's melee, and actually be effective.
Yeah, the melee's good in Destiny, I thought.
Yeah, but it's not like... I don't know. I just don't like first-person games.
Understandable. And what's this game that everybody, all the weeaboos are playing? Grand Order or something?
When I was a quote-unquote weeb, there was an anime called, Fate Stay, I think it was. And, TLDR, religious people acquire ancient fighters and they kill each other for the Holy Grail. Alright, that's the TLDR of the series. And it's had multiple seasons of it, or multiple series of that, because it's not really seasons, because they're all different. One season is it's called War 1, and then second season is War 2 with totally different characters. But
and is there a mobile game that's based off it or something?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that with the upcoming iteration of that show, they came out with a mobile device game.
Fate RPG for iOS and Android.
And the show is actually pretty good. It was kind of bloody, kind of lewd.
Speaking of religious people too, I was out on a run just now and I saw someone who looked like they were just on their way from church. And for some reason it popped into my head, like, you know how you're supposed to pay 11% of your total income to the church?
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you pay to give up your entire Sunday morning, 11% of your income, to be told about how you're going to hell? That sounds like a really bad deal.
I kind of just let bygones be bygones when it comes to religion.
I'm letting bygones be bygones when it comes to everything, too, especially politics, too. Because my dad just wants to rant and rave about how bad Trump is, and I'm like, nah, it's exactly the same, man. Your life is exactly the same under Bush as it was under Obama, as it is under Trump.
The only thing that I have a problem with it when it comes with my family is that they don't want to admit it, but they're like hardcore racists, and it's annoying.
Well, at least they're honest about it, too. It's even worse when you're a disingenuous, like, left-winger, and you claim to be all about equality, and yet you want to live in the white suburbs and not have contact with any black people at all. At least if you're going to be racist, you should own it.
Yeah, it just gets annoying too because sometimes we have like new workers on the job and my dad doesn't quite necessarily know the view of other people, but he doesn't seem to care. He's just like, nah, they're bad. I don't care what you have. If you have to deal with my bullshit, I have to deal with your bullshit. Kind of, it was. And then the other day he was like defending the Nazis.
Well, I don't think Nazis actually exist anymore, right? Is that even a thing? Are they real Nazis that want to bring back Hitler or something?
For me, as like someone that honestly doesn't give two fucks about the U.S., I do understand and I do sympathize with how big and dramatic the World War II was, and like seeing like these protests and these I don't know, Nazi flags and stuff like that is very
I don't understand it, man. Like, are there actually people who want to like be neo-Nazis? Like, that seems like such a stupid thing to spend all your energy worrying, like doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do know, like, in the South, they make a big deal of remembering the Confederacy and the Civil War. Like, they consider that a big part of their heritage, and they're proud that they fought against the Yankees. But yeah, I don't know how the neo-Nazi thing comes into it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't even know how Charlottesville or whatever came up. I just was like, one day I heard all of this like crazy stuff happening, and then I saw like a whole bunch of people with like Nazi flags hating on everybody. And I'm like, what the hell?
It's also like, don't you people have jobs to go worry about?
That too. And it's
like less time worrying about Confederate statues and more time worrying about being productive. What the heck are you guys doing?
Yeah, like all these people are a bunch of babies when it comes to the statues that are being taken down. Or, I mean, yeah, it's a symbol of history, right? But it's like, who cares?
But Trump had a good point when he said something about, well, Jefferson and George Washington had slaves. Are we going to take their statues down next?
I wouldn't mind. Take them all down, dude. Every single one.
Good fucking point, you know? Who cares? Who really cares?
Like, who cares if, George Washington Monument is no longer there? Great. Dude, all I see is, like, potential real estate.
I guess the point that's worth remembering, though, is that the country was built on rebelling against a tyrannical empire that was taxing the hell out of us and not representing us. So some of those statues stand for independence and freedom and standing up against being told what to do, like tyranny. So some of those lessons are worth remembering for sure.
Yeah, but they're also in the books.
Yeah, and again, how much does it really affect your everyday life? Not at all.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to remind yourself too when people are getting so butthurt about political stuff too. Like, does it affect your everyday life? Not at all, bro.
And sometimes it's just sucky. I just don't like where we are. And I'm not even big in the politics or left, right. Hell, dude, I don't even pay attention to it. But like every now and then when I hear about this stuff, it's very disheartening.
Well, I want to get you worked up and angry and ranting and raving about something. What can I do? I want to hear Math go on a big tangent about something.
I've been pretty chill.
I mean, getting laid can do that for you.
Yeah. That's very true. Dude, I raw dogged it too, man.
Do you need me to edit that out of the episode?
Nah, dude.
Fucking finishing inside too, or not?
Nah.
Not that ballsy yet.
Nah. And whenever I think when she's 26 or 25, I don't know the age where she can't be on her parents' insurance anymore. Then she's gonna take up her own insurance and get some birth control.
But until then, better raw dog it.
Until then, better learn how to pull out.
Pull out game on point.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, actually, Netflixed and chilled. It was pretty intense.
Man, I need to resubscribe to Netflix. I was using my friend's account for a while, but he kicked everybody else off who was mooching on it because there'd be a message that too many people were accessing it all at once.
Yeah. I haven't really watched much of Netflix. The last thing I tried to watch, was Marvel's Defenders. And that's like the Avengers version of the Marvel Netflix series. And I couldn't even finish the first episode.
I got a fucked up movie for you to watch this on Netflix. When I was in Chicago this last time, I watched it with the boys. It's called Eyes of My Mother, I think. It's one of these little indie flicks that's all artsy-fartsy and wasn't a big headline movie or anything like that, but it's super fucked up. I want you to watch it and tell me what you think.
Black Mirror is coming out with new episodes pretty soon.
Really? Oh, I'm stoked about that too. Guess I need to re-up my Netflix subscription.
There's a YouTube video. I think it's 51 seconds long by Netflix YouTube account of the trailer for all the 6 episodes coming out. And people are saying that the one that's titled Hang the DJ is going to be the most fucked up episode of the series.
Well, it's the season 1, episode 1, the one where the Prime Minister of England has to fuck off to get his daughter back. Like talk about starting your show off with some fucked up shit. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I love that episode. Just because it was like so real. I could see that being a thing to this day.
Yeah, that's the whole idea with the show. And I've ranted and raved about it before too. Like after you turned me on to it, the fact that it's about dystopian futures that could actually happen is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's not that that are highly probable of happening.
Right. Where have you seen the one where the social media really affects your ability to do everything in life?
Yeah.
It's probably going that way in the future too, where people interview for jobs and their employers will look at the Facebook profiles just to see if there's anything incriminating or bad on their Facebook page. And I've even heard of employers asking for people's login and password, and that's pretty fucked up, don't you think?
Yeah. I don't. There was hey, that's just messed up.
Like, we need your login and password to your Facebook or you're not getting hired. Son of a...
I'd be like, all right, guess you're not getting me, you know.
What if you need the money, though?
I wouldn't do it. Because if you're the type of person... Now, I'm not saying this company, whatever company is, but it's like, if you're the type of person that usually use different variations or usually the same password for 90% of your things, if they really wanted to, and if they really were actually evil, they could ruin your entire life.
Yep, they could.
Because I'm that way. A lot of my passwords are usually the same or very close variations of the same.
Let me just accidentally log into your credit card account and wire myself a bunch of money.
Thanks, dude. At least give me the receipt, though, you know?
Nah, I'm taking it all, and you're not getting any receipts or any chargebacks or anything.
Oh, man. Dude, speaking of receipts, though, iPhone 8 is coming out. You know how much money that's going to be?
Let me just throw a guess out there and say $1,000.
For the cheapest one, yes. This is a special edition iPhone, quote unquote. And the big dick one is going to be $1,200.
And don't the plans for iPhones cost at least $100 a month?
I wouldn't know. I have, but I wouldn't know.
I've never had an iPhone before, but I feel like the plans were really expensive when they first came out. At least I don't know if they've gone down.
But my job, since I'm an independent contractor, my tax form is 1099, something like that.
Yeah, you get the 1099 if you're a contractor.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I have to use a phone for a GPS. So what if I just bought a $1,200 phone and wrote it off as something I needed for work?
I think you can do that. That's the advantage of being a contractor, right?
Yeah.
You can itemize your stuff.
Yeah, like if I need like gas to get to work, I can save those receipts. I can save a lot of the receipts and do write-offs. But when I thought of that, I was like, would I seriously do that to get, $1,200 off my taxes?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Well, a lot of people do it.
Because, I have the means to get it at this very moment. It won't...
Wouldn't they kill you? Wouldn't they kill you? Like you just wasted $1,200 on a new phone when you could have been putting that towards saving for your future?
No, I even told her about it, that I could write it off, and she's like, do it.
iPhone 8 but it doesn't even have a headphone jack anymore, does it?
So, honestly, I haven't even looked. All I know is that there's going to be an iPhone 7 and 10. So that's why the price tag is so high. But I still, as a normal middle class person, would look at that and be like, no, thank you. I would not pay $1,200 for a phone when my desktop was $1,200. But the whole write-off thing is pretty intriguing. I need to pick up some new work boots and some knee pads. So I'm probably going to save about $100 there at the end of the year. 100 plus, I mean.
Do you like doing the contractor thing better than working at the store?
Yeah, money's good.
Well, no kidding.
That's the only... and the work isn't that bad either. It's like doing vigorous work for 15 minutes to, on bad days, an hour, and then getting back in the truck and chilling or taking a break for 15 to 20 minutes and then doing it again and repeating that process until you're done. So vigorous work followed by a break, followed by vigorous work, followed by a break until you're home. And since we're not paid hourly, I'll get a full day pay for coming home at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That sounds pretty good.
It is, yeah. I make $600 a week, and I get home at 12 o'clock every day. It's a really nice gig, and I can go up too. I still have room to grow.
And how is getting in good shape going? Are you losing weight?
It's not that I'm losing weight, but I'm definitely toning out. Is that the word? No. What's the word? I'm being shaped differently now.
I'm not getting actively fatter.
No, I'm not. But I still weigh the same. More, a couple pounds shy of what I used to or whatever. But I've noticed that my arms are bigger and my legs are beautiful.
Your legs are beautiful, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. Let's see if I can find it for you.
You're gonna send me pictures of your legs? Oh man.
No, I'm gonna send you a picture of OCD picking me up.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen this one. That looks great.
Yeah.
You gotta look on your face. I think I have it saved somewhere.
All right, here it is. All right. Discord. If I disappear, it's because I'm on Discord on my phone too. Let's hope not. I just had it, my dudes, and it disappeared on me.
I think I've got it. I'll send it to you.
The one in the red shorts.
And it's crazy because you guys look almost exactly the same size in that picture.
Yeah, and Miki. You know, little Miki. It's been a while since you've heard her voice, haven't you?
I mean, you're talking about the Mickey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who she is. Did you guys see her on that trip?
No, but she was like, "Damn, Mav, your legs are hot."
Oh, baby.
And it's just gotten better and better, dude. But like this, I'm surprised I haven't lost a lot of weight because this, like, when I say vigorous work, I'm like doing, like, I'm doing a lot of ab work in this job. Like every house is like about 100 to 200 ab crunches, so to speak. So if you punch me in the stomach, and I'll probably break your entire face.
Like if I punch you in the stomach.
Yeah, like it's weird, but I'm not like slimming down. I'm just getting like thick with 2 C's.
Meanwhile, I signed up to do the Duke City half marathon, so I'm training for that now.
Are you just like, all right, what's the real reason?
I just decided to see if I could do it. Like I did the Chicago half marathon in 2012, and that's a 13-mile race. So for whatever reason, I feel like doing another half marathon would sort of make it complete, if that makes any sense. Like just to do 2 of them equals kind of a full marathon in a way, but not truly, of course.
Or is this all a plan to see some fit girls?
I mean, that wouldn't hurt anything, but it's not like you're really going to meet them unless you go out of your way to do it.
Yeah, dude, just like eye a couple out and just run by a running ball. Haha.
Or after the race, hey, that was a pretty fun race. How are you doing?
Haha. Are you trying to be that one photogenic marathoner? Remember that meme?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Ridiculously photogenic guy.
Yeah. Dude, as a picture, well fucking done.
I have a picture somewhere of me during the half marathon. I wonder where it is. Let's see if I can dig it out.
But yeah, I've noticed that like we have these, we call them 9s because they're 9-inch long pliers, and we use them to cut through cable, right? Well, before, when I started this job, the thicker cable is what we call a RG11. It's actually a pretty thick cable. And before, I couldn't cut through that with one hand. You know, I would have to take both hands on both each sides of the pliers and, you know, cut the cable. But now it's like doing that one nutcracker thing. You know, you just kind of sit there, and my grip is probably leveled up 30 times since I've been on this job. I want to try to punch something like one of these days. Like I want someone to get me so mad to where I have to punch just anything and see like how much damage I do.
Right through some drywall.
I've done it. When my dad has got me all fired up, dude, I actually punched like a huge hole in my room at his house.
Here's a pic from the Chicago half.
What kind of compression shorts? Or those just tight shorts?
They're just short shorts, yeah.
Dude, I remember I used to wear compression shorts when I did football in like 8th grade, dude. Never again. I hated it.
Dude, look at my hand. I've got one of those balance bands on. They don't do anything. They're just rubber.
Hey, dude, fashion.
Remember when they were a thing too? Like, yes, they increase your electromagnetism to make you balance better.
Dude, I love how stupid we are as a race.
Yeah, we fall for a lot of hocus pocus, don't we?
We do. We really do.
Like, as it turns out, I think chiropractors are complete bullshit too. Like, the founder was a magnetic healer, and like it's just a lot of woo woo, and it's just you're getting a lot of placebo effect out of getting a massage, pretty much.
I need to go to a quote unquote chiropractor, or at least a doctor.
Why?
When I was younger, I don't remember my age, but I was definitely in middle school. My cousin jumped on my back with her knees, and since then, my back has been in a lot of pain. Like a lot of pain. Like there were times where I couldn't sit down. Like I couldn't sit for X amount of time because my back would start to hurt.
Like, what part of your back hurts? The lower back or what?
Yeah, lower back. That's where she jumped.
I mean, going to the chiropractor is not going to fix anything. It can even make it worse too. Like, if a chiropractor does an adjustment, it can just push your discs out of alignment more and make things worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was fractured, I feel like I would be in more pain. But I do know that you can be perfectly fine with a fractured back, so to speak.
Well, it depends on what kind of fracture that you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was always like, in the back of my head, I was like, I wonder if my fractured, and I'm just still walking around.
Well, if you got fractured, it would heal. Like, even if you actually broke one of your bones, they heal after a while too. It doesn't stay fractured forever.
True.
But the problem is the discs don't really regenerate, I don't believe. Like, they can desiccate, dry out, and then they can herniate, push outward onto the nerve roots that exit at every level. And those, I don't think they ever go back to where they were. So you can just do physical therapy to strengthen your muscles so you can support your back more. But I think once it degenerates, you're kind of just screwed.
Because I'm starting to feel it on the job too. The job isn't so much about like how fast you get your work done or how efficient. It's about how long can you endure the pain.
I think what you probably benefit more from is doing physical therapy to actually strengthen your core so you're able to do the job all day long. You know what I mean?
Because I'm just going to say on average, 100 feet. All right. Now, get on your 2 feet and bend down and like have your hands touch, like do a bear crawl, but with your legs being straight and walk 100 feet. You know what I mean?
So you're just kind of hunched over all the way down and walking like that?
Yeah. And
yeah, it sounds really bad. That would get the low back in no time at all.
And every time I get done with like a job like that and I stand up, it's just like, oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, you need to go learn some core strengthening exercises probably. Like, a chiropractor won't help you, but I think strengthening your core would.
Yeah, other than that, the only other thing that I run into with pain on the job is poison ivy. It's not really painful, it's just annoying. I'm all poison ivied up, dude. 9 times out of 10, my arms and fingers have poison ivy and my legs do.
That sounds horrible. Poison ivy is really bad, isn't it? Like, it's contagious and it'll like wipe from one part of your body to another?
It can, yeah.
Ugh, that sounds really bad. Yeah, you get all blistered up and stuff. I don't think I've ever had it before.
But another thing that the reason I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with spreading it to a degree, is because your body can actually build a resistance to it. You can't build immunity to it. So hopefully, pretty
soon you'll be immune to all STDs.
That's the goal, Start off with poison ivy and move my way up to STDs,
That's right. You literally will be immune to AIDS.
Next will be spider venom.
Dude, I hate spiders, man. Do you run into spiders all the time when you're crawling around laying wider?
God. Like, I'm not afraid of them, but once I see a big one, my goal is to either A, kill it, or B, kill it.
Yeah, oh my God, I can't stand them at all. I get that, rush of fear.
Like, I'm not afraid of actual spiders. Like, I have to put my hand into a spider-infested territory sometimes, and I'm okay with it. But until I see it, when I see it, that's when it triggers me.
Yeah, I can't do that job, man. I'd be triggered all day long crawling around under houses and shit where it's nothing but spiders. Nah, I'm good.
There was the one Friday where I didn't notice it until I had to put my head near it, and it was like a black. It was I don't. Its body was probably what's bigger than a quarter. What's next? The dollar?
I mean, there were silver 50-cent pieces, but they're not used very much.
The body might have been closer to a 50-cent piece.
The actual body, not to mention the legs.
Yeah, the body, and it was black, and I saw white markings on it, and I was like, ugh.
Jesus Christ, man! Do you carry a gun or a taser? Like you need a fucking shotgun that thing to death.
No, we carry a shovel.
So you shoveled it?
I shoveled it. It was in the air, like it was in a corner, and I shoveled it down. But I had to go to that corner, and I know I didn't kill it, so I was like,
"Oh no!
If I get bit, it looks like I get to go home early." Haha.
Dad, my arm's falling off and turning green and stuff. It's fine. Just put some just rub some whatever on it.
Benadryl or
rub some shit on there. Let's keep going.
Yeah. No, but it's definitely like psychologically challenging sometimes when you probably don't have this, but like in front of yards, there's like a little green box that I have to go to with the cable. You may or may not have seen it.
Are you talking? Well, I think I know what the power transformers look like. I don't know if that's related to the actual axle.
It's close.
Yeah, I know there's little control boxes here and there.
Yeah, I have to go to those in the front yard or in the backyard, wherever they are in someone's yard. And 9 times out of 10, those are the ones, like, those are where you'll find it. Like, last week, I was in one, and there was, like, 2 bees' nests chilling there. And
inside it, like, once you opened it up, they were in there?
Yeah. It's not hard to get in. Where I go into, bugs and stuff like that can easily crawl into, and it's a perfect safe haven because it's closed, it's protected until I come around.
That is such bullshit. Like, it seems like bugs go out of their way to try to live where people live. Come on, go fuck off. Go live in the woods.
But it was early in the morning, and I was like, oh, these guys are actually asleep. But I had to run the cable underneath of it because our goal is to get everything under the ground so you don't see anything. So we have to dig a hole under the little green box in the front of the yard so I can get the cable, feed it under. So when I was under there, I had to MacGyver my hand and cable in there with 3 or 2 bees nests, and you could see they were all sleeping on top of the nests and stuff like that. It was, I mean, I'm not afraid to get stung, but it's the panic that you're going to get stung. It's okay, oh shit.
Yeah, there's a difference between not being afraid and not being stupid. Like, don't you guys have a can of Raid or something that you could have sprayed them with first?
That's another thing too. We're never prepared for any situation ever. If our truck breaks down, we're fucked. That's just the way that my dad runs this job, is that if the machine breaks, if we break a shovel in half, we're just not prepared for. There's been times,
no gloves, no spare tools, no spare tire, no jumper cables, no nothing.
Spare tires. There's been times where we lost a tire on the highway on the trailer, and we did have a spare, but we didn't have a jack. So what we had to do was use the machine that was on the trailer to jack up the trailer. It's just a bunch of rednecking your way to home. It really is.
Right, and your dad's probably not even the healthiest guy anymore, too. So he's like, son, get out there, see if you can jack up this trailer.
Yeah, and it's... and he's... The only bad thing, the actual bad thing about my new job is the way that I look now. Because I don't know if you ever heard of a farmer's tan.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
But boy, do I have it.
Dude, I'm white. How could I not have heard of a farmer's tan?
You can kind of see it in that picture of OCD picking me up. You can see it in my legs, how it's white down by my ankle and a little bit white by the back of my knee.
Yeah, I can imagine if you rolled up your shirt sleeve too, it'd be pure white.
Yeah, dude, it's whiter than a piece of paper. Look how dark my arm looks. Oh my god. My arm is dark, dude. I didn't even realize that.
God, you and OCD look like you hang out every day. You look like the best of bros.
You should have been there, my dude.
Maybe next time.
I don't know when my trip out to her will be because it's like I said, it's a lot of hide and go seek with the fam.
Dude, I don't think I'm gonna have time to do another winter vacation. Like I already put in for one, so I'm gonna go someplace overseas at the end of December. So I don't really want to even go to the East Coast when it's cold out anyway. But maybe when it warms up, like in the spring or the summer, we should do a beans get together somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're free in November, you can swing by, but it would be kind of weird to third wheel some things, you know.
I don't want a third wheel, man. I need a girl that I could take somewhere where we're not completely in a codependent relationship, you know, where she's not infringing on my freedom, but she's still cool and I can take her places. That's what I need.
You had door.
Yeah, see, that's the opposite of giving me my freedom, dude. She went full stalker on me.
Dude, it was just too good.
There that night that I was all freaked out that she was messaging me saying that she was going to show up on my doorstep.
Did she? Actually,
no. But she was like, I'm about to leave San Francisco and I'm going to come and be over there tonight. And I'm like, don't get on that plane. You're not coming in. You should not get on that plane right now. Don't do it.
Don't he do it.
don't do it. Yeah. And she sent me a picture of inside the airport and I reversed Google searched it and it wasn't like a Google stock image either. So she actually sent me a picture from an airport somewhere.
Oh my god. That's when I'm not big, like I probably should have a few guns to protect my house and my family. But at that moment right there, that's the straw that'll break the back and be like, this is when I need to get a gun.
What are you going to do? You're going to shoot some little Asian girl who's trying to stalk you?
Yeah, dude. Castle defense. Don't step in my house.
Well, I mean, remember the two rules of meeting your standards? Are you a hot Asian and are you talking to me? Like, she's actually at your doorstep trying to get some loving. Are you really going to shoot her in the face? I don't know, dude.
No, I wouldn't shoot her in the face, but I'll probably like pop her.
Not with a gun. Oh!
Nah, dude, pop her in the knee, be like, pew.
Yeah, so you don't want to pick up any stalkers. You need a girl who's somewhat independent, someone who you can be aroused completely sober, you know, like not have to be drinking to be turned on by her, and not too clingy.
Well, Bay's super clingy, and I'm okay with that.
I believe it. I believe that you guys have a little thing going on where you sort of need each other at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually a clingy person myself, and being around her has actually like bettered my life as like a person.
I think so.
Yeah, because like I'm not very. This is gonna get a little weird, but I'm not usually a cute person. Does that make sense? I'm not one to usually say cute things.
But now you're so cute.
But now I am just too cute.
Well, don't be a pussy about everything.
No, I'm usually not, but it's like the way that I talk with her is no way that I could talk with you guys. I'd be shunned.
What do you mean?
Just in like, I don't know, when you're talking to a girl, I can safely say whenever you talk to a girl, a one that you've already had relations with or currently with, 9 times out of 10 when you're talking to her, the goal is to get into the pants. So you're going to say anything and everything you need to get into the pants.
Yeah, but then there comes a certain point where you're just talking trash, like OCD and simply just talk trash back and forth too because the honeymoon phase is over, I guess.
Yeah, but, you know, TLDR, you're still aiming for the pants.
Yeah, probably.
Like, it could be like fun shit talking, you know, and then you could be like, haha, and then you pick her up and throw her on the bed. Boom.
Right. If it ever actually gets to the point where she's going to be mad at you and like doesn't want to talk to you or be near you at the end of the night, then you fucked up.
Yeah. But, you know, the only times that it's ever been scary was found out about the computer. It
And-
was, and, man. I
about
don't.
that.
I don't know if you should like actually write a book, but you might want to think about it.
I'm not even an expert on that, man. My philosophy has been more just to stop giving a shit about girls, and if it happens, it happens.
Well, as soon as like I took your advice, I remember I took your advice, and I was like, if this is how it's gonna be, then I'll peace out, Girl Scout. And then changed real fast.
Yeah, it was a shit test. Like once you're outside of the situation and you're not having to feel like you're the one who's at the center of it, like you can see right away it's a minor thing to get all worked up about.
Yeah, and it was, whew. And it was, and it too, on top of the stress of seeing each other for the first time, probably didn't help either.
I know too. Like for her to tell her coworkers that she's going out there to see her fiance or whatever she said.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Like from her perspective, if it falls flat on its face, then she really looks like an idiot.
Yeah, but you know that ring I showed you, if you remember it.
I don't remember exactly what the pattern was or anything like that, but I remember there was one. Does that count?
Yeah, it was a halo band or whatever, where there's diamonds along the outside of the main diamond. And I found out that having a halo style ring is more dangerous because you have a higher chance of losing your little diamonds inside.
Like the halo ones are going to fall off it?
Yeah. And she lost a diamond. So I don't know how she did it, but she was able to return the ring. We got a refund, and then she somehow suckered out $500 more out of me to get a better ring.
What? Link me to the one that she ended up getting then. You were going to say she somehow suckered $500 out of them because their damn ring fell apart.
No, that ring ended up being like $2,100. Where is it?
Your guys' crappy ring fell apart. Let my fiance pay for a more expensive one now. No, what?
Because she was freaking out because there wasn't a stock photo on the website for the ring. I had to have passed it. But yeah, there wasn't a stock photo for the ring. And whenever the ring was finally shipped, she looked at the website and they were using her ring. But I can't show you the website because I can't seem to find it, and I'm too much of an idiot to remember the actual settings. But that's it on her hand.
So it's like a big square with two circular ones on each side of it?
Yeah. And I can't remember. All I know is that she literally was like crying because the James Allen, the website I showed you, didn't have the stock photo of it to what it looked like, and now it does. And she's like, ah! As women get.
Yeah, man. That's another reason I don't want to get married. I just can't deal with that on top of my other things that I do. I can't listen to those problems and then try to figure out a way to fix those problems. It just takes too much patience. Not for what I'm getting out of it, at least.
Yeah, I've had to. She might have deleted it, the websites or something like that, because I can't find it at all. But yeah, it was. I mean, it is kind of cool though that she made the ring to be on the website and stuff like that. That quote unquote hand models wore and stuff. But yeah, she suckered $500 more out of me for that one.
So, what was the grand total on that?
21.
It's pretty expensive, but not that expensive since that's like my flight and hotel for this vacation that I'm about to take anyway.
They actually took a vacation last week, 2 weeks ago.
Where'd they go?
She went with a girlfriend to San Francisco.
Dude, they hooked up with so many guys that weren't you. You don't even know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, dude, the odds of that actually happening are so slim that I don't even care anymore. Like, it's
Not
not
really.
even a
That's how you
thought.
know you're getting married.
Yeah, it's not a thought to me. It's like she's going somewhere where other guys will be that I won't be there. At the end of this night, I'm gonna be single.
Like, take her, man. I'm done with this.
And more, it's like, I mean, if you can handle her, dude, take her. I bet you can't.
Oh, baby. You can't handle this.
Well, no, you should probably handle her in bed, but you can't handle her after bed.
Oh, no.
She's a very worried person, and I'm a very carefree. So it's
She's
weird
worried
how
about,
we
she's worried
mesh.
about her future and family and job and all that stuff.
Yeah, she's worried about everything. And my worry is, I don't know.
That's a good way to be, man. The more you think about it, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, but I also don't want to be ignorant. But I don't know. I do believe in power of prayer, and positive energy can usually have a positive outcome into what you're trying to achieve. So I assume that if you worry about something and you put all this negative energy into it, the odds of that happening are probably greater than what they were before.
You know what? I don't know if that's exactly true, but you're not going to get anything positive from worrying. You're definitely right about that.
Well, that's the way that I always thought about it. Is that my motto when I was like in high school, like about tests or homework, and people would ask me if I'm going to get it done, and I was worried about not getting it done or a good grade. I was like, the more you worry about it, the more likely it'll happen.
Think so?
Yeah, that's the way I've always lived. I usually don't worry about a lot of things. I don't worry about anything. And when stuff does happen, it's kind of like, shit, all right, well, I got to take it, or I got to, grab the bull by the horn and see what I can do.
Does that mean you've seen that show, The Secret, or heard of it, where you kind of manifest what you want to or something by your own positive energy?
No, but if I remember correctly, this was a while ago, and I'll be talking completely out of my ass during this, so please feel free to, if you know anything, to correct. But that's something, positive energy has something to do with quantum mechanics within the brain.
There is that theory where the brain is a quantum computer, and that's why we can't figure out exactly how it works, because it's doing something on a higher plane.
Yeah, and I remember watching like a 4-hour movie that I really liked watching. I watched it like 3 times with like a couple different groups of friends. And it was all about quantum mechanics. And they were talking about like how if you sit in a room and all you do is think about how you want to change your life, you will change your life for what you're thinking about just because of how much thought and energy you're putting into that idea.
And what was the name of that movie?
Oh, what the bleep do we know?
Hmm.
And that was the actual title. And it's old, and it even talks about like quantum mechanics proving that if you really wanted to prove it, you could prove that there is a God with through quantum mechanics. But that whole entire movie was
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've watched it or seen it, or I don't know.
It can be kind of, the only reason I watched it 3 times was because the first 2 times were with friends, and then I watched it alone. And I think I either A, was hypnotized, or B, I fell asleep during this part of the movie. But when I watched it alone for the 3rd time, there was a part of that movie that I don't even remember the first 2 times. Like not a lick of it.
I'm not saying that's proof of quantum mechanics existing, but it's pretty spooky.
No, it was like, I don't know what it was, but when I saw it, I was like, what the? Because I forget what, I think it had something to do with like housing inside the brain or something like that. And it was like a cartoon skit. And it's like, how would I not remember something like that in the first 2 movies? Because even though it's kind of educational, there is some cringy, funny cartoons because they make it not kid friendly, but it's probably when the movie was released, college friendly.
In that movie, do they do a cartoon animation of the slit experiment?
I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Where there's two slits, and if you're firing a photon through individually, you'll get a different result that if you're observing it versus if you're not.
You know what? I think they did. That sounds really familiar.
But I think I might have seen part of that movie before, because now those cringy animations that have to do with quantum mechanics and stuff, that seems like it would have come from that movie.
But for my uncle, he's not my real uncle, but my aunt's boyfriend, Jason, he's the jack of all trades. He knows a little about everything, but nothing about one thing. And he told me about that movie. He knows a lot of like cool, neat facts. In fact, he's the one that told me about the Mars cleaning thing.
Oh yeah.
Which that's a whole other like rabbit hole I try not to get down into because I'm just like him, where it's like once that rabbit hole is open for me, I like to dive as deep as I can.
Let's go down some rabbit holes while we're hanging out. Where do I find information about that? I wanna rattle off about it for the listeners.
I don't know where I found. It's just there's like a video. You could probably just go to YouTube. But basically the rover on Mars, I forget the name of it, but it wasn't supposed to last this long. With how dusty and dirty and
it's called the Mars rover. I'm looking it up right now. The Mars rover, and it had solar panels on it, right, to stay powered. And it gets dusty. There's pictures of it with dust all over it, and then something is cleaning the rover off so the solar panels can keep functioning.
Exactly, and that rover was only supposed to last 9 months, and it's lasted at least a couple of years. I don't remember when it was actually, land. When it actually made its first land.
There's a great lecture with Mike Barra. He's one of the guys who was on Ancient Aliens, like one of the hosts, and he talks about life on Mars. And he also talks about how NASA supposedly paints the sky red on all these pictures of Mars, even though the sky's actually blue. Like Mars actually kind of looks like Arizona in some places. There's all this funky stuff that NASA does to make things look more dead on Mars.
Now that you bring the whole Arizona up, probably in a secret location on Arizona.
Oh, really? You think it's one of those, like where they're actually filming it in Arizona and not actually on Mars? And I also believe that about the moon landing too. The moon landing, there's that one long documentary that talks about how they think it was done on a soundstage, and some of it's kind of convincing. There was some tomfoolery going on.
Jason, he's saved from an old documentary of the moon landing, of NASA's document of it, and I forget the name of the astronaut, but he's like, they're looking at us over the ridge. What do you want us to do?
Well, yeah, that one of the guys on the radio channel did say that, but then that kind of contradicts our theory that maybe they didn't even go.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's why I'm still up in the air about it. It's either the reason why we've never gone back is because the thing there that was mentioned that they're looking at us over the ridge doesn't want us back, or B, we just can't do it to begin with.
Have you seen the YouTube video? It's actually like a TV show, Aliens on the Moon, where it shows all these pictures of all these artificial-looking structures on the moon.
No.
That's great. That's worth a watch. Let me see if I can find it. I'll link it to you.
But like the mysteries, it's not like I like to solve it, but I like to hear about them. You know what I mean? Like the black object or the black night in the sky of that. What was it? The satellite or whatever that was just all black in the sky.
Yeah, the Black Knight satellite. That's literally what it's called.
Yeah, and people were like, it just looks like an object, but as technology progressed and we had better pictures of it, it's literally just a black satellite.
Have you ever heard of the black-eyed children?
I mean, I've heard of the Black Eyed Peas.
Because I like when I drive around, when I go on road trips and stuff, I'll download all these podcasts about just random paranormal stuff. And apparently there's like a phenomenon of black-eyed children where they kind of appear out of nowhere and they ask to be let inside either your house or into your car. And people get really scared of them, obviously, because they're creepy, strange children. But the idea is kind of that if you let them in, you'll be possessed or taken over by a demon, or there's something satanic, something like that.
You know, if I ever come across that, let it happen, dude.
A creepy black-eyed dude, that would scare the shit out of me. If there was a random knock on the door and it was a creepy pale kid with black eyes asking to be let in, I would shit my pants.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would shit mine too, but I mean, like, as soon as I open the door and my brain is abducted and I'm being possessed, dude, let it happen, man.
Well, you're not like possessed until you let them in. Like, that's part of the lore of it.
But like, I want to see the other side. If I come back from that experience, I don't care how crazy I would be to other people, but at least I know. And it's kind of like that age-old question. It's like, what happens when you die?
Well, everyone's going to find that out at some point.
I know, but it's like, what actually happens, though? I've always wanted to know. Like, is it just black? Or are you, like, running through memories?
I mean, part of me wants to think that it's just blackness and complete oblivion. But then there's always theories that you're either going to get reincarnated or you're going to go to some kind of afterlife. And it kind of seems like life is too meaningful to just be completely over when you're dead. That's why people want to believe in something.
And you know what, like, actually grinds my gears about ghosts? Is that 9 times out of 10, when you hear ghost stories or you see, like, a ghost on, like, a YouTube video or whatever, right? They're always from, like, the 1970s. Or, so the 1700s, my bad. It's like, where are all the ghosts from, like, yesterday? Where are they at? But it's always, these, like, World War II, or, Jesus, I need to get out of the 1900s. The Civil War veterans and stuff like that.
I don't know if I was going to defend that. Like, I know what you're talking about. Like, there's a lot of old-timey ghosts, and maybe it's just because life was so traumatic back then. Like, maybe we have things just way easier now, and we don't have as many restless spirits. That's, like, the only theory I can come up with to have it make any sense.
Speaking of theories, I actually have a theory to prove evolution wrong. If I really wanted to, fight it.
Lay it on me.
And that's sleep is good, right? You need sleep. But as a species,
when you sleep, there's actually like waste toxins that are being removed from your brain.
Yeah, but as you sleep, in the wild per se, that's the perfect opportunity to die. Perfect opportunity to die is in your sleep.
Yeah.
By natural causes and or a threat. More likely a threat. So however long we've been here, why haven't we evolved past sleep?
I think it's just the nature of biology, the nature of the chemical reactions that have to happen in your brain. There's that buildup of toxins or byproducts in your brain. Plus, you need to have like a rest cycle. You can't just be active all the time.
No, I mean, I see that point, but it's like, if things weren't the way they were, I just feel like we don't need sleep. If we don't need tails anymore, we don't need sleep.
How do we also not need fur? Like, our ancestors lived in a lot of cold places that required us to kill animals and wear their furs. Why did humans become hairless? That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. I'm talking about that too, about the whole, I was going to say that's because of global warming. And
maybe it does make sense. Like if our ancestors evolved in Africa and we needed to stand upright and shed our fur and then we started sweating, like we've got sweat glands. That's how we cool ourselves. So there's literally a form of hunting that's called endurance hunting, where you just run and chase an elk or something, or not an elk, but whatever, an antelope, whatever kind of prey animal you're going to chase in Africa. You can run after an antelope and you can chase it for miles and miles and miles, and you can cool yourself off because you can sweat. But the only way it can cool itself off is to pant, so it just dies. That people still hunt that way in Africa to this day. Yeah, so that would be one convincing reason why we would sweat and lose our fur pelts, because we evolved in Africa. So then by the time people migrated out to Europe, it could be plausible that, yeah, they evolved paler skin to get more vitamin D from the sunshine, but it wasn't enough like evolutionary incentive to get another set of fur like a primate has.
Dude, I would love to be furry.
You are a furry, you goddamn weeb.
Not a furry, but furry.
What other paranormal theories are good? You have Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Stan Romanek?
No.
He's a guy who claims to have been abducted by aliens, and a lot of his evidence seems like complete bullshit. Like, it seems like he faked it himself. But at the same time, I love watching this documentary that has him in it, because there's so much good evidence, and he's got all these strange pictures. He's got pictures of things that he says are aliens. He's got videos of aliens and UFOs, and what is it? At one point, he fell off his roof. He was working on his roof, and he fell off, and he tore his ACL, and he needed surgery. And then he supposedly got abducted, and then his ACL was magically repaired after that, and he had to go tell the doctor that he didn't need surgery anymore. And the doctor didn't believe him, so they've got it on tape of the doctor being like, "Well, your leg's all fixed up. It sounds like ghosts did this."
Dang.
So I think there might be something on YouTube that I can link you to there. But yeah, he seems like a bullshit artist in a lot of ways, but it's so entertaining to listen to the story and think about if it were true.
That's another thing too about the whole aliens. It's like, why on this earth that everyone and everywhere but the United States is like, yeah, there's a chance. Have you noticed that? United States is usually the only country to be like, nah, doesn't exist.
Everywhere else, like, we're more close-minded about it.
Yeah, everywhere else is like, yeah. I mean, we have some things, we've seen stuff, but we're not sure what. They're up there. Let's just say that.
Here you go. Here's Stan Romanek giving like a 2-hour presentation on all of this strange evidence. Like, I don't know how I stumbled upon it, just random YouTube browsings. But when I saw this, I'm like, wow, I've never seen someone give a presentation that has this much supposed evidence in it. And like, remember the huge thing? Was that in Arizona, Georgia? There was a big UFO over Phoenix, I think, a few years ago. It was probably more than 10 years ago at this point. It was a while.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's actually been like people saying like, nah, that's not a thing. That was a military thing. It's like, why are we always trying to be like military and not being like, well, it was an unidentified object in the sky.
And yes, they tried to say that it were flares. It was flares or something. It was 3 big triangular lights, and in the middle of them you couldn't see the stars. So it was clearly not flares. And
if that's a military device, why are we doing it over U.S. countries? Put that over like in the Middle East, dude.
If it's a military ship, why is it just hovering over Phoenix for an hour or two? What?
Yeah, it's like, why there? And then I like hearing the stories about fighter jets or pilots per se, usually in the Navy or the Air Force, that come across things that they can't explain in the air.
Yeah, and how their instruments malfunction and stuff.
Yeah, and like, I remember this one where he was actually chasing something. Forget what it was. But he was actually chasing something and it just disappeared in front of him. It's like, how do all these people have all these stories and it's like, you're still talking about? That's probably Trump is an alien. That's it. I solved it.
There's a theory on 4chan that Trump is a time traveler. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh man, I need to link that to you, and I just want you to read it out loud for the stream. It's so freaking hilarious.
Jesus, dude. And then when I just talked about Trump, it reminded me of that little GIF or video of him looking up at the sun without glasses, and it reminded me of an argument that people go on and on and on about how thing, even if it's backed by scientific evidence, but yet everyone gets out their phone to watch an eclipse happen. That's backed by scientific evidence of why an eclipse would happen. You know what I mean? Because I'm 100%. I mean, this Earth is getting a little too hot.
So here you go, man. Here's that picture. Open it up full resolution. Just start at the top and read that shit out loud. It's so hilarious.
I'm assuming after Tesla's death.
After Nikola Tesla's death. You've seen 4chan posts before, right? You know how the format is.
Yeah, for the most part, but I don't usually dabble in 4chan.
I only do when it's pure gold.
Hold on, let me do some proofreading here. Now, speaking of Tesla, that's like the whole thing with what's his name? Who's the guy that invented the light bulb?
Edison.
Yeah, but he actually didn't. Do you know?
Yeah, Edison was more of a businessman and a marketer. I mean, he experimented with a lot of stuff, but he was much more about capitalizing on inventions too. Like when Wilhelm Röntgen discovered the X-ray in Germany at the time in the late 1800s. It was customary among German professors and intellectuals and researchers not to copyright their material and just to distribute them freely for the good of all mankind. And then Edison picked up on that, and he's like, well, time to market this shit and time to capitalize on it. Like he was much more of a capitalist than he was just a pure researcher.
The guy who actually invented the light bulb was Tesla.
Is that true? I don't actually know that much about Tesla.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this guy. Not this Tesla. But maybe, what was his name? I think it was Tesla, because I told Bay that it's funny how there's a car named Tesla and there's someone else selling it, because that's like the light bulb. All right. After Tesla's death, the FBI ordered the alien powers to seize Tesla's belongings, even though Tesla was an American citizen. The National Defense Research Committee called in an MIT professor. I got bleeped.
I was gonna say your narration is leaving something to be desired here, man.
Yeah, Bay bleeped me. Professor to make sense of Tesla's notes in order to analyze if anything and then could be weaponized. The MIT professor was John Trump.
Wait. Start over. We're going to narrate this like we're reading a book. You take one passage and then I'll take the next one.
Hold on. What was this?
Start at the top and read it like you're reading an audiobook to the audience.
After Nikola Tesla's death, the FBI ordered the alien property custodian to seize Tesla's belongings, even though Tesla was an American citizen. The National Defense Research Committee called in an MIT professor to make sense of Tesla's notes in order to analyze if any in them could be weaponized. The MIT professor was John Trump. If you are not familiar with Tesla's theories in his later years, he explored fantastic topics like free energy and substance in Tesla's notes, but this, of course, was a lie. He knew that in the National Defense Research Committee realized that the notes contained, that what these notes contained, it could mean the end of the world, because included in them were blueprints for a theoretical time machine.
The next post says, although John Trump thought that Tesla's time machine was plausible, it was not possible to create using the technology existing during this time. John Trump later died in 1985, but not before leaving Tesla's notes and their implications to the protection of his beloved nephew, Donald Trump. Around this same time period, Donald Trump was known to use pseudonyms such as John Miller and John Barron in partial homage to his uncle. However, there was another pseudonym that Trump was not so well known for using, John Titor.
Trump, as John Titor, traveled to the future under the assured identity of a soldier, where he discovered that America and the entire world had become a nuclear dystopia caused by radical Islamic terror. John Titor began posting to several forums in the 2000 and 2001, speaking of events that happened in the timeline he had witnessed. He had spoke of terrible events that would occur from the early 2000s through 2012. He could not name radical Islamic terrors at the time, or the timeline may become unavoidable. He had to be extremely cautious and analyze the near in temporal variables and possibilities before making his move. Trump traveled time, amassing a fortune and making subtle changes which helped him delay the future he saw for as long as he could. But the future is now coming. Trump knew that the only way he could have enough influence to prevent the future totally would become the president of the United States of America.
And then there's a reply like a different anon. Huh? I'd never heard of John Trump before today, but now that I look into it, I think there's a pretty good chance that Trump is actually in possession of some rare Tesla research. And there's a link to the New Yorker about Trump's nuclear uncle.
Oh yeah, which one do I read here?
I don't know. There's just a couple anons under that say, "Holy fucking shit!" It all makes sense. That's why Trump Tower was struck by lightning. Wasn't the day he was officially nominated? I knew it was a special day.
Man, dude, sorry about my narrating there. I guess Bay has 7 cats inside her house, and then a couple outdoor cats. She's a very animal lover person, and I guess a black kitten has been ripped apart, so to speak.
Oh god, there's pieces of black cat all outside.
Yeah. And she's the type of person that if anything is hurt, if any animal is in any danger or in any pain, she would much rather kick a baby's head off than continue that animal's torture. If that makes sense. So that's why I was getting blooped. It was just her spamming me about the black kitten.
Well, dude, we have to continue this copy pasta. So the next post says, if it's ever seemed to you that Trump has the bizarre ability to predict and manipulate his political opponents to his advantage, you're on the right track. The truth is they're not predictions. Rather, they're foreordained events. However, there's one thing you need to know about Donald Trump's campaign for the presidency.
Trump wants to be president, but not for very long. Only as long as it takes. He's always said he wouldn't want to be president if there was someone else he thought would do a good job. Do as good as job. This is where Mike Pence comes in. You see, Mike Pence is also a traveler who Trump met many years ago. Depending on your perspective, Pence is at the same time more than once. For example, there can be more than one Mike Pence on Earth in a given time period.
Just as a side note, if you ever thought Pence looks a little strange or out of place, he's from far enough in the future where the races have sort of become homogenized.
Keck has spoken. Pence is from the future.
Mike Pence, or rather copies of him, were sent back to the past by Pence Prime and Trump in order to infiltrate the lives of political enemies before they ever became political enemies. Indeed, there are many such enemies, none of whom you've ever heard of, because they met their demise or fell into obscurity long before they could become a threat to Trump. Pence's motive to help Trump are as follows. A, avoid a temporal conflict. B, become president himself, as promised by Trump.
Time travel, especially the rudimentary variant currently in use by a certain group of people, not Trump/Pence, is not without its side effects. Their overuse of the technology, while certainly having a negative impact on the health of their agents, at the time and time again, and no pun intended, what is that? Stymied?
Stymied.
What the hell is that word?
It means stopped or foiled.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I've never seen that word before. The more you know. Ba-da-ba-da. Stymied. There it is, right? a lot of Trump's and Pence plans.
And then there's a picture by this anon of Trump with his mind getting blown. Ivanka was born to another father, and Ivana, in the original timeline, Trump was dating her, but Trump went back in time and has a large family now with Ivana, thus becoming Ivanka's father. This is what he meant by perhaps if she weren't my daughter, I'd be dating her.
Oh my God. Before I forget, Tim Kaine, who is gay, is not involved in this plot, and it was essentially neutralized as a political threat long ago by one of the Pences, who is still in service. Luckily for Trump, his temporal enemies do not realize this. Simply take a closer look at Kaine's wife, their story, etc. But I'm not getting sidetracked.
Trump is causing the Mandela effect. The celebrity deaths are being averted or delayed are due to time ripples. The huge and lavish funerals for otherwise trivial people are because of slow news days, because Trump and Pence are stumping the terrorists. Muhammad Ali and Mandela died in the Alpha timeline, and few batted an eye because bigger events were occurring. Trump is not just a god emperor, he's a superhero.
Trump's first attempt at defeating Hillary Clinton happened in the late 1990s. To be more specific, Trump hatched a plan to shame and discredit her husband, Bill Clinton, to the point that Hillary would not be able to successfully run for public office. While the plan succeeded in some regards, its temporal inclusion by Hillary from the future prevented any lasting damage. She then went on to successfully run for the U.S. Senate, New York. Sooner thereafter, despite Trump's best efforts, the tragic day of 9/11 occurred. It was Trump's biggest mistake, and something he regrets every day, and every yesterday, and every tomorrow.
And then there's some anons underneath it. The memes are converging. Keck was revitalized, blah, blah, blah. There's a picture of a frog statue there. Now the question remains, did Trump go back in time and awaken Keck by accident to receive his blessing, or did Trump create Keck because he knows that memetics are what holds timelines together, or is Trump Keck himself?
You guys can see the writing on the wall and are getting a bit ahead of me. I don't know about the connection between Trump and Keku, but Trump did indeed visit ancient Egypt as one of his first travelings. This is where he began to understand timeline and how he could have impact on them.
Here's my proof, by the way. Hillary Clinton will be defeated unless something major changes in the timeline. Unlikely. And September 11th, 2017 will be declared Peace and Prosperity Day, will be approved as a national holiday by President Trump. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Forgot to mention, she will be declared the winner of the election by all mainstream media sources, but the American people will find out she didn't actually win. This will occur on December 21st.
Well, that clearly didn't happen, but the other posts, like some questions for this anonymous poster. Will Trump ever disclose the time machine? Also, will he disclose, hey, Lamau, are you one of the Pences? If not, who are you?
There are no aliens that we know of, just other humans from far in the future. Abductions are real because people in the future occasionally have need for fresh samples of genetic material from the past to cure diseases and diversity their homid. Is that right?
Yeah.
Reading that to me does not look right.
It says they need genetic material from the past to cure diseases and rediversify their homogenized gene pool.
See, that did not look like that to me. Maybe I need glasses.
No, I'm not a Pence. If you haven't figured out who I am, I'll give you a hint. The me that you see in public is currently less than 25 years old. I won't confirm it if you get it right.
Will whites get all homeland in the future? No races will become a relic of the past. I know it's Baron.
Yeah, there's a few anons guessing that it's Baron Trump making this post on 4chan.
Wow, dude. This is just too much.
So we're getting to the end of the post, but the punchline comes all the way at the end here.
Oh, is there actually a punchline?
I mean, it's like the whole thing is kind of open-ended, but the funniest fucking part is at the end. why is Kane being gay even important? I was hoping you guys would figure it out, but if it isn't obvious, his wife is a Pence. Maybe another traveler from that far in the future. I don't know for sure because they all look similar. And then there's this side-by-side picture at the bottom of Tim Kaine's wife looking exactly like Mike Pence.
Oh my god.
Oh man, it's the most classic like copy pasta thread from 4chan about the election. It's so funny.
I need to get glasses.
Look at that. Look at Tim Kaine's wife compared to Mike Pence.
They're like the exact same.
It's so messed up, right? Because the idea that Barron Trump posted in this thread is that in the future everyone kind of looks the same because their gene pool is homogenized, which means all like more similar than different.
We're through the looking glass now. There's no going back.
Thanks for the best thread in a long time. It's making me question reality.
For any future post, I'll use this chip code. Please remember it. Good shit, dude. It actually was kind of funny. Like, I believe it. I'll support it too. Fuck yeah, I will.
I mean, certainly a fun idea that Tesla's research fell into the hands of John Trump and then he left it to his nephew, Donald Trump.
Yeah, like, what is there telling you that that's not real?
I mean, it requires a leap of faith that you could think that time machines are real and that Tesla discovered them. But there's no doubt in my mind that if Donald Trump had access to a time machine, he would fucking use that thing.
Well, that begs the question, too. Who's to say there isn't already a time machine? Not from us, but from the future us.
Well, that's a whole theory in and of itself. Haven't you heard the theory that aliens are not actually aliens, but they're just people from farther in the future?
I mean, I've heard about it, and I actually kind of want to agree to that more than aliens.
Yeah, I think that there's a strong possibility that rather than aliens traveling many, many light years from the future, or not from the future, but from a farther distance to get to Earth, it's even more likely that people in the future could discover a time machine, and for whatever reason they need to travel back in time. Like sometimes aliens and UFOs are said to have an interest in nuclear weapons. Like maybe they're trying to keep humanity from destroying themselves because that would eliminate them, you know? Like if we have a nuclear war now, then the aliens in the future, I guess, would be disappeared. Their past would be interrupted.
Yeah, but to assume that there are aliens in the future, then we're obviously going to survive.
Yeah, or maybe isn't that a paradox though too? Like, yeah, I forget how that works. Time travel theory is hard to understand.
It just give me to point A to point B, and don't fuck your sister, which is your mom. Or wait, what was it? Don't fall in love with your mom from the past, right? I don't know. I'm trying to remember Back to the Future.
Or isn't it for every time you alter the past, you're creating another different version of the future?
I don't know.
Like both different futures exist, but in like different dimensions almost. It's also
I actually believe in that. I totally believe in parallel universe theories.
Well, it would kind of make sense. Like the fourth dimension is time, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be a way to traverse the fourth dimension.
Yeah, I totally.
And some of that would explain like paranormal stuff because things that just appear and disappear might be traveling in and out of the fourth dimension.
Or it might be coming from Earth 2. Oh, all the ghosts you see are actually on Earth 2 that got lost. And somehow ended up on Earth 1 trying to make their way back to Earth 2.
I think there's a YouTube video that talks about there being 11 dimensions, right? Isn't there evidence that there's actually 11 dimensions out there?
To be honest, I'm just going to say yeah. But, nah, dude, I like that kind of stuff.
Look at this. This came up under when I searched for the images on Google of Trump being a time traveler. Here's an image that it looks like Putin is a time traveler, like a World War I photo, World War II photo, and then currently there's a picture of a guy who looks exactly like Putin.
Yeah, but I would like to agree with that theory, but that could also just be like,
yeah,
it's like DNA, isn't like, what is it? Around of the world.
right? It's just a racial similarity. It's not actually Putin.
Yeah, it's just, or it could actually be his relative to some degree. Like, have you ever seen like movie stars that have like old versions of themselves, or like they have like a picture from like the 19 whatever, and they have a picture of like Jennifer Lawrence, and then some girl that looks exactly like her from years ago.
Well, yeah, everyone's freaking genetically similar, especially if they're a similar race. Look at this picture. That's supposed to be John Titor. That's an actual picture from the 1950s.
Huh.
So they're like, is that guy a time traveler?
I believe it. But I think we should start wrapping this up.
Sounds good, man. Good chatting with you. And you need to watch those videos. Look at the aliens on the moon thing, and look at Stan Romanek. Watch those videos and let the theories flow through you.
Yeah, dude, I definitely will. I've always, like I said, been interested. In fact, like even though it's completely off topic in a sense, but I almost went into school for mythology. So I kind of like the fantasy world that could be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's tough to make a living in mythology, so that probably would have been a good waste of $70K or whatever tuition is these days.
Yeah, true that. But I've always liked that kind of stuff. Theories, mysteries, mysticals.
All right, man. Well, we'll wrap it up. Everybody, Maphael.
Hey, yo, what up?
Thanks for joining us.